welcome to this week's review of Beowulf in 3D.
Tonight will be different. I am Ripper, Terror, Slasher. I am the teeth in the darkness, the challenge in the night. Mine is strength and lust and power. I am Beowulf.
For this review, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to give this film 2 ratings. One for the movie itself, and one for the 3D theatrical experience. For this movie, it's needed. But keep in mind that this review is based solely on the 3D version. As most people know, this is a very old story that's been estimated at well over 1,000 years old, and the author is unknown. Now, I do want to say something before we get started. This movie will scare the crap out of little kids, and I'm not joking. The 3D aspect I saw was incredible, and everything looked amazing. And we sure have come a long way from Jaws 3D, which had to have had one of the worst scenes in movie history when the shark hit the glass. Man, that was pathetic. Now, I would be very careful bringing any little kids to this movie, because it does have a good amount of violence and nudity. And if you're not watching this in 3D, it may not be quite as startling or intense, but the 3D version will make them jump a foot, and you may be tucking them in for a few months, especially with the Grendel scenes. I'm sure that someday, this whole 3D thing will be no big deal, but for right now, it's still rare enough and new enough to warrant a trip to the theater just to experience it. There's also quite a bit of nudity in this movie, both male and female. So for those of you who want to see Angelina Jolie naked with the anatomy of a Barbie doll, then you're in luck. And as for the male nudity, there really isn't too much to worry about. And as usual, there's strategically placed elbows and candlesticks to keep you from seeing the whole Monty, unlike Eastern Promises. I was actually very concerned about this movie at first, because I didn't know how this movie would play using this half cartoon, half real look for the characters. But I will say the visuals are pretty revolutionary, and this has to be right up there with Tron, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Toy Story for breaking new ground. Those movies were truly unique films that stretched the limits of filmmaking at the time they were made. This movie is one of those where you don't want to wait and see it at home. But if you see it, you need to see it in 3D. Now, I've seen Captain EO a very long time ago, and that was amazing. And this movie has some of that same feel to it. And I don't know if it comes close to that quality, but you really feel like you can reach out and touch things that are right in front of you. This was not a perfect movie by any means. And the problem you tend to have with a movie that's going to be 3D is that if you take away the third dimension of the film and think about it without these incredible effects, it does have some serious drawbacks. Nothing horrible, but the film drags pretty bad in several parts, and some scenes are drawn out way too long. They did get an excellent group of actors to do the voiceovers for this film, including Anthony Hopkins, John Malkovich, Angelina Jolie, and Brendan Gleeson. The biggest problem for me with this movie is the ending. I felt I really didn't leave the theater feeling satisfied. In order to be a great film, you need to have some closure. But this film really didn't give you that feeling of satisfaction at the end. If this was a horror movie, I would have said, here we go again. But since it's not, it was a little more acceptable. Overall, the 3D experience was incredible, and the movie was pretty good, and the visuals are just stunning. And it does have quite a few memorable scenes. And again, if you're going to see this movie, see it in 3D, because if you see it any other way, it just isn't going to be the same. This is like hearing your favorite song without the vocals. There'd just be too much missing. From overall rating, I give Beowulf 3.5 stars. And for my rating of Beowulf 3D, I give it 4.5 stars.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Post your comments below on what you thought of this movie. If you'd like to rate and review a movie, you can do so at www.yourmovieratings.com. At this site, you can upload a video review or even a text review of any movie ever made. If you subscribe to my channel, you'll be notified immediately when my latest movie review is uploaded. Also, if you'd like to see some of the latest info regarding my channel, then check out my website at MrBlacksReviews.com. And if you made a cool video, or you want to share your YouTube channel with other members, then post them in the YouTube section. These forums are dedicated to everything from new movie releases to your very own YouTube channel. And don't forget, I'll be giving away DVDs at the forums, including the following titles: Transformers, Harry Potter, The Simpsons, Hot Fuzz, and 4 DVDs of the movie 300. So join the forums for a chance to win any one of these DVDs. And finally, if you want to see my list of upcoming movie reviews, then just go to my forums and click on the calendar. This has all the movies that I'll be reviewing in the future. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next week.